Hello, everyone. We'll see if this works tonight. I literally got the baby to bed again 20 minutes ago, and she just woke up screaming. So I think she has an internal sensor for when I'm about to start. So we'll see if she makes it. Abby put her in the sling. We'll see if she makes it. Wait for everyone to join. I see we have 6 million. Stephanie Ray, Dorothy Goss. Hello, Gina, Catherine, Jennifer. Nice to have you guys. Now, remember, next week, I'm pretty sure it's a go. We're having Mrs. Sherry Thompson next week to talk about being a grandma, being a mother-in-law. So if you have any wife that like to watch, let them know about her being on next week. I know everyone always likes it when she's on. So look forward to that. Hello, Monica and Ashley and Dana, Nicole, and Joy. Nice to see you guys tonight. So I was thinking of a topic about ladies that are struggling with depression during the holidays or just having no joy. Maybe they're going through a really rough time. They've had a loss of a loved one, previously, and then in the previous weeks to a holiday. So I kind of wanted to do something along those lines. I'm actually going to pull up my outline for it right now. All right, let's go pull up my outline for it. So I sat down and I wrote out a different outline. So definitely, if you guys have any tips, if you've had a loss before the holidays and you have some words of comfort or words of advice for other ladies that are facing loss. And when I say loss, it could be a loss of, many different things. It could be a loss of a job. Your husband lost his job. It could be, hi, Sarah. Hi, Morgan. It could be, the loss of a loved one. It could be someone that was dear to you that died. It could be the loss of a friendship. It could be you're going through a rough patch in your marriage. All these different things, that people and women go through. So I wanted to do something along this lines. The other one that I was starting the outline for was actually about the differences between being a tiger mom and an elephant mom. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of the differences. There is an author that wrote a book in, I think, 2011. It's a very interesting book. I read it called a Tiger Mom's Battle Hymn or something like that. I don't know if that's the exact title, but it was really interesting. And she used a lot of the techniques raising her daughters that they did and do in China. And it was just interesting reading from that perspective because she had a very low view of Western mothers and the way that we raise our children. And a lot of us Western mothers, we kind of are more of an elephant type of parent. And so I was going to do, something based off that, but I decided not to. So let's get into this topic tonight. Hello, Sarah. How are you? So, many of us are going through rough times. And just because the holidays come around, it doesn't mean that, suddenly our life is better, our losses are gone, things like that. But most of us, especially the ones that watch this channel, we have kids that we're making an impression on. So we can't just lay in our room and cry all day long or be depressed, sit around in depression all day. So what do we do when we just feel like we have no joy and we're going through a rough time? What are some things that we can do? So, one of the things I thought of first off, obviously, was bring your thoughts into subjection. As your mind goes a lot of the time, so goes your actions. If you're sitting around constantly worrying, stressing about everything, that's going to come out through your actions, through your day-to-day life and things like that. So, you need to bring your thoughts into subjection. I know for a lot of moms and me too, we oftentimes have a hard time at night, after you go to bed and all the kids are in bed, laying there thinking about things. Or I know for me too, it's, if I'm taking a shower or something, you have a lot of time just to think because you're not doing anything other than that. You're not doing anything other than laying in bed. You're not doing anything other than showering. So I feel like our thoughts can really get out of control if we're not careful, and it can, make us be depressed, make us cry, make us be down, um, make us sad. So, yes, that's a good verse. 2 Corinthians 10:5. Thank you for looking that up for me. And then I also thought of the other verse, whatsoever things are pure, that verse. I'll look it up. I don't have it in my notes. Whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, you know, um, think on these things. That's a really, really good verse too. Philippians 4:8 says, finally, brethren, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are good report, if there be any virtue and if there be any praise, think on these things. So obviously, the Bible does tell us to keep our thoughts in subjection, casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalteth itself against the knowledge of God, and bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Christ. So our thoughts and our mind do play into a lot of how we live our day-to-day lives. Sarah said, she said, my mom has that one on a note card on a wall in her house. I've done that before with scripture, put it on note cards so that when I see it, I can think about it, and then I can, just have that on my heart and mind instead of all the depressing things that are going on. Like, we're fighting, we don't have any money. How are we going to do Christmas? The kids are sick again for the 10th time this year. My husband lost his job, whatever. So, keep scripture around the house, do things like that. So, yes, and that I will get to that that is definitely in the outline, Ashley. That's one of the biggest things. But, think of the good things in your life. Think of the good things as far as a roof over your head. Even if it's not, a mansion, you have a roof over your head. Think of the fact that you are warm. If it's cold where you live, think of the fact that you have air conditioning. I just hit the desk of my whole computer. Think of the fact that you have air conditioning if it's hot. Think of the fact that you don't have to be in the elements, that you're out of the rain and you're out of the snow. And think of the vehicles that run. Praise the Lord that you have a vehicle that runs. Praise the Lord that you have shoes to wear and clothes to wear and things of that nature. Think of the good people in your life. We all have bad people in our life. We all have people that are going to hurt us. But instead of focusing so much on all the bad things that someone has done, try to think of the good friends that are in your life. Try to think of family members that have helped out in your life. Try to think of those that you have a close relationship with. Maybe you have a close sister. Maybe you're close to your mom. Maybe you're close to your dad. Maybe you're close to your brother-in-law or your sister-in-law. Think of the good people in your life. I guarantee you most of us probably have more good people in our life than bad. I know I do, at least. Especially, one-on-one. Obviously, there's always going to be the trolls and the haters and things that come after us, but interact with me on a daily basis. So they honestly don't matter to me at all. And they can say what they want, do what they want. They do not matter. The ones that I'm more concerned about are the ones in my day-to-day life, the ones that I interact with, the ones in my church. Do I get along with them? Do I have a good relationship with them? The ones that I'm around, in my community, do I get along good with them? Do I have a good testimony with them? Those are the ones that I'm more concerned with. I'm not concerned with all the other people that say they hate us, because they don't know. They don't know me. They only have a perception of things that they've heard, things that they think is true, and it's not. So, hi, Kimmy. Think of God's blessings on your life. And this could come in the form of anything. This could come in the form of that unexpected money coming in to pay that big bill that you knew was coming up. This could come in the form of someone doing a nice thing for you, whether that's monetary, or it's just, being there as your friend, listening when you were going through a hard time. It's just someone that does something nice for you. Realize that you were broke last year and you made it through. You weren't going to be able to pay your bills last month, but you still did it. Remember all the times that God came through for you. And this helps me a lot. I think of all the times sometimes in my life when I've been like, okay, on paper, we don't make enough for all the bills that we have, or we're not bringing in enough to feed all the mouths that we have. On paper, this doesn't add up, but we're still here, 18 years later, and we've always paid our bills. We have never had one bill sent to collections. We've never gone hungry. We've always had more than enough food. We've always had money to, travel or just take one vacation a year, even if it was just a cheap one, finding cheap things to do. We've always had a fun time with things like that. So, even though sometimes it seems like you're just in over your head and you're not going to make it out again, you're still here and you did make it out. And it was that way a month ago. It was that way a year ago. And I do want to say, if you are having a hard time financially, my husband just preached a good message about last week. I think he just checked that out. It's something about financial, something along the lines of financial. But you need to get a written budget, and you need to sit down. You need to see how much money you're bringing in. You need to count up your bills and see what you're doing. And you need to look at all your debt versus your income. And you really need to get a working budget. And when I say a working budget, I mean, on paper and month to month what you're spending, what's coming in. And then you can set an allotted amount based off what you make for different things. So like for groceries, I have a $200 budget a month or a week, not a month. That'd be awful. So it was a month. I have a $200 budget for a family of 9 for a week, per week. And most of the time I am right around that. I'm able to make it. We try to take cash out for our groceries and our spending money. We try not to do debits, because you spend a lot more with the debits if you do that. So, get a working budget. If you feel like you're constantly drowning and you're just never ahead and you don't have enough to make your bills and you're always using your credit cards, then you're probably not keeping track of where your money is going. And when you sit down and you figure out exactly where all your money is going, you'd be shocked. You'd be shocked at how much you spend on fast food. You'd be shocked at how much you spend on Starbucks. You'd be shocked at how much you spend on frivolous things, going to the movies, just frivolous things all the time. So you need to get control of your spending and do a debt snowball, pay off your smallest debts first and work up from there. Figure out what cash you're going to use for what, and then have some Starbucks money. If that's $5 a week, that's $5 a week. If you can afford 10, that's 10. Have some fun money and then stay within that budget. And after a year of doing that, you're going to notice that your finances are really going to turn around, especially if you're paying off your debt. So that's just a little freebie I threw in there. So let me read some of these comments. Darlene Day said, I've started to do that. Always think on the good rather than the bad. Blank out all the negative. God is way too good to be worrying about what men and women and what people think. That's exactly right. Kelly said, on paper, it doesn't add up, but praise the Lord for tax return season. Don't we all look forward to that? That's kind of been our big, if we have any small outstanding debts, pay them with tax return. We haven't really had fun with that money very much, but it is nice to pay off debt and, things of that nature. So Ashley said, I went through a depression once for several months, and a counselor told me to do a thankful journal. They said, write down 2 things you are thankful for each day. It really helped. That's a good idea. Do something like that. Another thing that Karen Rodriguez had said that I had never tried before, in one of her videos about how to be a joyful homeschool mom, was she was talking about every morning when you wake up, before you get out of bed, just smile. And that'll help set your mood for the rest of the day. So many of us, myself included, because I don't like to wake up in the morning, we wake up and we're just, it's another day. Oh, I'm so sick of it. I'm so tired. But if you wake up and you lay there before you get out of bed, before you start griping and moaning, and you just smile, that's going to help your mood. It's going to help set the tone a lot better than being grouchy and things like that. Joy said, smiling like that actually releases dopamine hormones. So there you go. I've heard it takes more muscles to frown than smile. I don't know if that's true, but hey, maybe it is. I don't know. So, one of my biggest ways to achieve joy during the holiday season, and Ashley already mentioned this, but, focus on others during the holiday season. That's the biggest one right there. Don't focus on your inward problems. Don't focus on everything that's going on in your personal life, in your personal bubble. You need to look outside the realm of your home, outside the realm of your problems, and look on other people's problems. Find ways to make homemade gifts for others. If you are talented at sewing or crocheting, or maybe you're artsy and crafty and you have a gift of doing that, find ways to make homemade gifts for others. When you are helping and you're giving, that's going to bring you joy when you see the joy on someone else's face from making them something or doing something for them. I know I have a daughter that is good at crocheting. I think it's a crocheting or knitting. Crocheting? She's so good crocheting. She's good at crocheting and she's already planning on making gifts, homemade gifts. And I know the ones that she gives those to, the family members she gives those to, she's going to bring a lot of joy to them, and that will bring joy to her as well. So, explore small, meaningful ways to brighten someone's day. There are so many cheap ways online that you could just make someone's day. I don't know about you, but for me personally, I get such a thrill out of just getting snail mail that's a handwritten note, or it's a note that a child has drawn or something. And I've had a few of my piano students already send me homemade thank you notes in the mail. And I think that's really special. I love getting it. It brightens my day. It makes me smile. Just a handwritten note to someone makes them smile because it's so obsolete anymore. It's so, I wouldn't say outdated because I don't think it'll ever be outdated, but it just doesn't happen very much anymore. So a handwritten note is great. They have things like Amazon Prime. They have Snag Shout that you can snag some great deals on. You have deals that work with Amazon Prime. I haven't looked on there for a while, but if you go on there, you make an account, then you can just do only the deals that you have Amazon Prime with, and then you snag the code. And I found a lot of really, really great deals on there. And then you can even send it directly to the person that you're trying to be a blessing to. So they have Amazon Prime, Snag Shout, Brightbox. These are really cute. I've seen a couple of my friends on Facebook have gotten these, and they are just a cute little box. I think you can even send like a confetti card for like $5, and $5. I mean, how much is it to even send a letter now? It's almost $1, isn't it? So it's not much more. And you could just send someone a cute little card. You can send it right to them. Electronic gift cards, even if it's $5 for a Starbucks drink, you can brighten someone's day with $5, Starbucks electronic gift card through email. So there's all sorts of things. If you think outside the box, there's so many cheap ways. You don't even have to be extravagant, just cheap little ways that if God lays someone on your heart, help them out, send them a little package, send them something nice that is going to make them smile. That's always great. I know I have been on the receiving end and I have been on the giving end when it comes to this, and I get joy out of both. I get joy out of receiving the little things that people want to brighten my day, but I also get joy out of giving. I get joy out of giving and knowing that it brightens their day. I really like that. So, and there are so many options in this, amazing world of technology. There's so many options available where you can do that. So, Samantha said, I like printing free printable cards, coloring them, and writing a note inside. My friends really like that. That's really nice. Just something that, took some time. It takes you time to, writing a note, color them, and printing them off, and actually taking the time to do that. That takes time. So offer to drop a meal off to someone who needs it. Maybe there's a mom. Maybe there's a mom in your life that just had a baby. If your church doesn't have a meal train, I know at Faithful Word they do, which is a good idea. I think at Verity they do too. Meal trains are great, but if your church doesn't have one, just offer, drop off pizzas or drop off something from a restaurant or make a homemade meal, something like that. My Surprise Life said, paying for the person behind you in the drive-thru is a quick way to brighten your day and a stranger's too. It is. And I actually had this done for me last year around this time. Someone paid for mine, and so I just paid for the person behind me, and I don't know how long it kept going, but I thought that was really nice. That had never happened before to me, so that was really nice that someone thought to do that. And it's kind of nice because then the longer you keep it going, the more people have their day brightened. So, but yeah, a meal can really lift someone else's spirit. Maybe they're going through a hard time or a depressing time, or just a trying time. Maybe a meal will help, because then they don't have to figure out what to make for their whole family, and that's a huge thing. So, buy someone a coffee. And like I said, even if you're not there in person, there's always the option of doing an electronic gift card, PayPal. You can drop money, send money to someone super quick through PayPal nowadays. Um, it's just, in this land of technology, anything is possible, even if it's a small amount, like a $5. I know a $5 Starbucks drink always brightens my day. So I'm sure it would for someone else too. Um, so yeah, another thing in the holidays that you need to remember, especially if you have no joy, go simple. If you're going to be totally stressed out and it's going to make you, I don't know, there's two parts to this, because I think for some women, they need to go simple, because too much is going to stress them out, especially if they're just overwhelmed already. But then for other women, if they're not busy, then they get really stressed out. So it kind of just goes off of your personality. I know for me, I can overcommit. So I have to be careful when it comes to holidays, because if I overcommit, then I'm constantly just stressed out from having to run here and get this and run here and get that. And a couple of years into being a pastor's wife, I definitely overcommitted, and I paid for it because I was super stressed out. I did not enjoy the holidays. I love Thanksgiving. I love Christmas. It's my favorite time of the year. And I was very stressed out, and I did not enjoy it at all. It was not fun. And I said, never again. So then the year after that, I did do better with not being as stressed out. I still did probably too much. Well, now I still do a lot, but I've made it a point that I don't sit around worrying about it like I used to when I was younger. And I know that helps. I just take day by day. I do each day by each day. I don't sit there and, I mean, maybe I try to be prepared and I do what I have to, ahead of time if I have to, but I don't sit and obsess about it and worry about it like I used to when I was younger. I have too much on my plate now to do that. I have to just take each day by day. So I've gotten better about that. So that is definitely something to keep in mind too. Take each day as it comes. Don't sit and worry about the future. Don't sit and worry about how busy things are going to be the next week. Just take it when it comes and try not to get too stressed out. So, don't go into debt for Christmas. This is a big stressor, and this is one of the things that brings a lot of unhappiness after the holidays. You don't need to impress anyone for Christmas. I know for me, I have so many nieces and nephews on both sides of my family, more so on my side of the family. I am the oldest of five. I have 7 children. My sister below me has 7 children. My sister below her has 4 children. My brother below her has 3, and my sister below her has 2. So I have lots of nieces and nephews, and it's just not feasible with having 7 children to be able to buy each of them something. So I had to just tell them that a few years ago. Listen, I know I love your kids, but I'm not able to buy everyone presents for Christmas, and it's fine. And they're fine with it. And for me, I don't feel a need to impress people by buying gifts with money I don't have. So we've always tried. I don't know if we've stuck to this every year. Pretty consistently, we've stuck to it, not going into debt for Christmas. And Christmas is on December 25th every single year. So ahead of time that you're going to have to prepare for that. So whether that is putting money aside in savings a little bit each week, if you just did $50, $25 a week, that's a lot of money by the end of the year, and you'd have a really nice Christmas. And then just remember too, it's not all about the, material things. Teach your kids that there's more to Christmas than just presents. For us, a lot of what we do is tradition. We have a lot of different traditions that we do that make it fun, that aren't expensive. Like every year we go to Peoria to see the Christmas lights. That's a big thing. Baking Christmas cookies. We always have a kids' Christmas party at church. We do a kids' Christmas play most years. this year, it's like the lowest stress I've ever done with it. I just decided I was not going to stress about it. That was one of the biggest reasons I stressed out 3 or 4 years ago. I thought everything had to be perfect. And it was stupid to do to myself because then I didn't even enjoy it the entire season. So I'm not doing that ever again. I'm going to do it very low key. We are doing a Christmas play this year. But if the kids don't know all their lines, oh well, I'll give them their lines during the performance and we'll just keep going. Not a big deal. So I'm not stressing about it at all. The parents like to just see their kids up there on stage doing the play. That's the most important thing. But so you just know your personality. Know that if you're committed to too much, it's going to stress you out like crazy, or know if you're sitting around your house, not committed to anything, that's going to stress you out too. So, do what you're able. If you're able to make the Christmas ornament exchange, we always have one of those every year, then do it. If you're able to make the cookie exchange, then do it. But if not, if it's going to totally stress you and your family out, just don't do it. So, Dorothy said, when I bought gifts for 8 of my cousins and a bunch of friends, I got so stressed I didn't enjoy the holidays at all that year. When you get stressed out, you're not going to enjoy them. You're not going to take the time to just slow down and really enjoy everything that comes along with it. So you're not. Let's see. So, build memories with your kids. They're going to remember the memories over that of Christmas presents. I bet if you asked my kids if they could remember all the Christmas presents from all the previous years, they would not remember it at all. So, you ask them, what do you do every year for Christmas? I'm sure they would be able to tell you a better answer. We do this or we do that. When my kids were younger, we used to do a live Christmas tree. And so we always had that tradition where we would go pick out the live Christmas tree, take it home, decorate it, all that. But then one year I had a tree and like literally every needle fell off. It was like the Charlie Brown tree where like every needle fell off. And it took us hours and hours. In fact, my oldest son, Tommy, he was probably only, I don't know, 7 or 8 at the time, but he probably still remembers helping me for hours pick up those stupid needles. And for months afterwards, we would get them stuck in our feet. Like we'd step on another stupid needle and it would go in the skin. It would go all the way in. So he probably still remembers getting rid of that. So after that year, I said, nope, I'm not doing a real Christmas tree anymore. As much as I like, I don't know. I'm kind of tempted to do one this year again though, because we need a new Christmas tree. We only have a fake one. And we've had it for probably since then, for the past 10 years, we've had it and it's really pitiful looking. So I don't know, maybe I'll ask my husband, maybe we should go get a live one this year. Maybe try to keep it watered better so every single needle doesn't fall off. I don't know. So 6 million said I usually have the end of the year blues for no reason other than the fact that something is ending. I know, I like the holidays. I don't know. I like how everyone seems to be in a better mood around the holidays. A lot of people do emphasize the giving part, not the receiving part. And I like that people are helping each other out and giving. Ashley said, almost 5 years ago, I had cancer and God healed me. Each holiday season, I'm so happy that I can enjoy another holiday season with my husband. That's sweet. I'm glad that you were healed from your cancer. That's a good memory to have for sure. So, you don't need to impress anyone. If you can't afford it, don't buy it. Build the memories versus the material items. Bake cookies with your kids. Sometimes that's more stressful than not, but bake cookies and don't mind the mess, I guess. Do crafts. In fact, I'm excited. One of my friends just sent me stuff for crafts with my girls, so I'm going to make them. In fact, she had a video on it. Mrs. Anderson had a video on it about the little things for your windows, the little things that you cut out, the stars and things that you cut out and you put on your windows. So she sent me the stuff to make that. So I am going to make that with my girls, probably maybe this week. I don't know, because I'm taking school off Wednesday. So we'll see, except we'll probably be pretty busy. But sometime before Christmas, we're going to make it. I'm definitely taking a week off of school at Christmas. I don't know about 2, but definitely a week. So during that time, that's when I'm going to try to get all of the fun stuff in. The making the cookies, reading the books, watching the Christmas movies, drinking hot cocoa, making that craft, playing board games, things like that. That's when I'm going to try to get it in when I'm taking the whole week off of piano lesson, teaching piano and doing school. So we're just going to take it easy and enjoy things that week. So, Kelly said, I went to Aldi today and it was so crowded in the middle of the day. No one seemed to be in a holiday mood today. Everyone's stressed out right now because Thanksgiving is Thursday. So hopefully they'll chill by Thursday. And Belle said, I want to build a gingerbread house. We love ginger cookies. My kids want to build a gingerbread house. We tried that every year and we just stink at it. Chloe, we were just at Walmart getting groceries Friday and we walked by the gingerbread houses and Chloe said, Mom, you might as well not even buy a gingerbread house this year because we really stink at it. And every year they are. They do. We stink at it so bad. Ours never looks like the picture on the gingerbread house. So if anyone has any tips with that, I appreciate it because we really stink at it. So, make some new traditions and keep the old. Like I said, every single year, pretty much since we've been married. So for almost 18 years now, we have gone to see the Christmas lights in Peoria. And then we usually try to plan some fun event around that. We've done ice skating. We've done bowling. We just walk the mall sometimes, do fun things like that the kids know every year we have to do it. And then it's so nice because when you're driving through the night, and it's like $10 to get in. So that's a really cheap tradition that we do. But, as we're driving through the lights and we have our radio tuned to the Christmas music, it's just I just get a really happy feeling every year when we do that. So, do your old traditions, but come up with something new for your family. I know for Christmas Day for us, I always make cinnamon rolls and hot cocoa. So we always do that. We always read the Christmas story before we open the presents. We usually do grandparents' house. And then my mother-in-law, she does these huge stockings for the kids that they look forward to every year that are just jam-packed almost as much as I feel like their presents under the tree. They just jam pack them full with candy and little things that they like. So I know my kids look forward to the stockings every year from them. They look forward to the stockings from us. So, just definitely do some traditions, do some fun traditions and have fun with your I was asking for ideas for tonight and she was like, you need to do a show about how to have fun with your kids. And I'm like, well, isn't that just kind of something that people know? And she was like, no. So, I understand what she's saying because I do see a lot of parents where maybe something is stressful or it's hard. So they would just rather not do it. And so their kids sit around and do nothing. That's no fun for you or the kids. I know taking 7 kids out, taking 5 kids out, taking 3 kids out, taking 1 kid out. I know it's a huge pain sometimes when you have to bundle everyone up, especially if they're in car seats. But you need to make memories. You need to do stuff with your kids. You need to have fun. Let them grow up in a fun home. Let them go places with you. We try to travel a lot, whether that is to some of the conferences. We've always, from the time we were married, we've always tried to go to conferences. And we really like them. Most of the time our kids like them. There's been a few. They were like, there's so much preaching. But most of the time the kids like them because they're around other kids and that's always fun. And plus just the traveling there and getting to eat out and all that stuff. So, make up some traditions and have fun with your family. Let them do fun things. It doesn't cost a lot to do free things such as free zoos, free parks, different things like that. So Kirsten said, I make my family do zoo lights every year because we used to go in Chicago. My husband gets so cold and angry every year, but I love it. We need to find drive-through lights. You do. I love the drive-through light thing. It's huge. It's so big. It's super popular. Lots of people come to it. And there's always a huge line of people getting in. And it's like I said, it's only $10. I've never done the zoo lights. That would be kind of fun. Maybe we should do that this year. I've been wanting to go on a trip. Abby, what's one of your favorite? I scared her. She's like sitting over there. What's one of your, I'm going to put you on the spot. What's one of your favorite Christmas traditions we do?
Probably going to Peoria.
Going to Peoria, the Peoria lights. I think all of them would say that. Going to Peoria and seeing the lights. So thank you, Gina. I have not even been paying attention to the chat. Gina's on top of it tonight. She got that. She deleted that person before I even saw what they said. Bill Cosby. We know it's not the Bill Cosby. Shara said it can be hard because all of my family, except my parents, are in America, mostly Arizona, but I have my husband's family now, which is nice. That's good. And then Hope said, we wanted to go down and visit SFB. That's, which one is that? Yes, I know which one you're talking about. Again, wish we could be there for Christmas service. Makes such a difference to be with fellow believers. Yes, it does make a difference to be with fellow believers. That is correct. And then Kelly said, smile and apologize to people in the store if they feel you're in their way. It makes people think about themselves. When the lady with all the kids you are being rude to smiles at you. I've always tried to do this. I've always tried to go out of my way, especially when I have all my kids, to be nice to other people, to smile and be pleasant, because they do notice that. And, that is a testimony. If you have a lot of children and you just look completely stressed out of your mind and you're like freaking out on them and yelling at them in the store, then that's not going to make anyone want a big family. But if they see you, that's why I've always tried to get dressed every day, do my hair and makeup every day too, because if I do go out in public, I want to be ready. And I think it's just a good testimony, because I feel like us as moms of many, we're held to a higher standard, maybe not even in a good way, but people do hold us to a higher standard. It's like we can't look run down, or we can't look stressed, or we can't look, we have to look rested, and we have to look, presentable. And that might not be a good thing in and of itself, but I don't want to give off the impression that I absolutely hate my life, because I don't, that I am absolutely stressed out of my mind all the time, because I am stressed out a lot, but I'm not all the time. Or because I just am so, I'm just so tired all the time, which I am tired a lot. That's where makeup helps. And, I want to give off the impression that I really love what I do, because I do. And I love being a mom. I've always wanted to be a mom. So that's why I try to just wear something cute when I go out and about, and, do my hair and my makeup, because I feel like it's a good testimony and it's glorifying God in a way, if that makes sense. But that's just a little side note. That was completely off topic. But anyways, Shara said, good point, Kelly. I try to be friendly with people I walk by, and some people are surprised and really appreciate it because no one talks to each other anymore. Yeah. And you'll find that a lot in Illinois. I don't know. When I'm down south, I'm shocked at how much people talk to each other. But in Illinois, I'll try to even just be pleasant to the cashier. Maybe she's having a rough day. So I try to make small talk with her, as she's doing my groceries and everything. So I try to be pleasant. So, your kids are going to remember all the memories you make, even if you have to do it, while crying inside. Maybe you just went through a loss of a loved one. And all you want to do, honestly, is just sit in your bed and cry. Cry all the time. But you can't. You can't sit around and cry, because you have all these kids that depend on you and a husband that depends on you. So sometimes you just have to do things anyways. You have to try to make the memories anyways. You have to think of others outside of your pain, if that makes sense. And a lot of times it's easier said than done, because a lot of times, hi Dan, a lot of times we want to just wallow in our sorrow, or wallow in our loss, and think that, we're the only one that it's ever happened to. But the truth of the matter is, it's not. People die all the time. And most of the people that die, someone was really close to. So someone's going through a really hard time because that person died. I just found out today, one of my childhood friends that I used to go to school to, my mom babysat him from the time he was little for a couple years. And his mom babysat us, actually, when she was a single mom. And she was raising Andrew all on her own. And I found out today at age 38, he's my age. I'm not 39 yet, but age 38 today, he died of cancer. And he was his mom's only son. And I don't believe he ever had any children. So, now this poor mom, and she's my former babysitter, and I think fondly of her. She was good to us kids. And, this poor mom now, right around the holidays, has lost her only son. And my heart breaks for her. And I know there's so many people that are going through losses right now, right around the holidays, and I know how tough it is for them. So it's very, very sad. And, if we keep the mindset that I know this doesn't help very much when you're going through it, but I've always tried to think somewhere someone is in worse pain than me. Somewhere someone is going through a loss deeper than mine. And that comforts me, not so much because someone else has it worse than me, but it brings me comfort just realizing that I'm not alone, because people lose people every day. And, if they are saved, which my friend Andrew was saved, someday we're going to see him in heaven again. And we have that hope and we have that joy. And his mom wrote a very sweet post on Facebook telling everyone that he had died this morning at 3 a.m. It's always around 3 a.m. My dad died around that time too. It's weird. But she wrote a post saying that he had died around 3 a.m. And she was talking about how I could tell she was super sad. But she also said, as much as my heart is broken, I know that he's no longer in pain. He was going through a lot of pain near the end. He had rectal cancer, I believe. And she said, I know he's walking pain free now on the streets of gold, and I'm going to see him again. And I'm going to be with him again. And we have that hope of heaven, us that are saved. And so that brings comfort too. I've had a lot of losses in my life, and that is one thing that brings me comfort, knowing that I will see them again. I will always miss them here on earth, and I'll always have that hole in my heart, but I have the hope of heaven. So Heather said, Christmas has never been the same since I lost my dad at 14. He was my only parent. I still have to remind myself to be happy for my children and not get too down on the holidays. That is sad. And I lost my dad at 17. He was not my only parent. I have a mom, but it's still hard every Christmas knowing that he would have made a great grandpa, and knowing, how great he would have been as he was a great dad, and knowing he would have been even a better grandpa. So it is still hard. And then Morgan said she lost her dad just before Christmas too. And we don't sorrow as those that have no hope. We do have a hope, and that hope is heaven, and knowing that we will see them. We'll see them again. And my heart breaks for this mom, and hopefully I can go to the funeral. I don't know when it will be yet. But I just want to go and try to bring her comfort, and bringing other people comfort during times of loss helps your loss as well. Just letting them know that maybe not what it's like to lose a child. I cannot imagine anything worse than that, but that the pain of loss, and just letting them know that you're there. You're there just by showing up, that you're there. So, just if you focus on others, it's going to take your focus off of you and your problems. You're not going to stop focusing so much inwardly and keeping all of your problems stored in you and thinking about them and meditating them all the time. Start focusing outwardly and looking for ways to be a blessing to other people. Looking for a way to send a card or send a note or send a gift or, do something special. And one thing that I have liked about being able to teach piano from home since I started up is that I have been able to do things for other people. I love maybe buying them things, sending them things, doing cards, sending them cards, buying them gifts off Amazon. I love doing things like that. And I'm able to now that I have a little bit of fun money coming in on the side, just through a hobby that I have, teaching piano from my home. So, look for ways maybe that you could supplement your income doing fun things that you can help other people or be a blessing to other people. It really does bring a lot of joy. I really find a lot of joy in it. So, don't buy into the hype that everything everywhere is perfect around the holidays. And I know I said to watch Christmas movies, but if you watch Christmas movies, most of the time, everything like turns out perfectly in the end. And the single girl gets her single guy that they've been looking for their whole lives, and they kiss under the mistletoe and all is well and all is happy. Obviously that's not true most of the time. But, watch a movie like It's a Wonderful Life, where it does put it into perspective. Even though his house is still falling apart at the end of the movie, it just puts everything into perspective as far as his life is still the same, but he has just learned to appreciate what he has. And that's obviously one of the most classic old Christmas movies there are, but I just love the message that it has, and the message too that it shows that everyone is important to someone. And the world would be a different place without you in it. So watch that with your kids. It really teaches some good lessons in there. I really, really like that movie. So, oftentimes people hide heartache. It's not acceptable to, I think, show your weakness. And I wish it was more so, because I feel like, in our weakness he is made strong. And so when people see that we do have weaknesses, but yet maybe we have victory over those weaknesses, we go on with life, we serve the Lord like we're supposed to, even with those weaknesses, I believe it brings glory to him. So I feel like when women try to act like nothing phases them, they don't, they have an armor of steel and nothing gets through to them. I think it's hurtful in some ways to other women, because they're trying to, maybe I'll never measure up. I could never be like that. I cry so easily. I'm so emotional. Everything gets to me. So I feel like it is good to show people that you have chinks in your armor, if that makes sense. Let people know I'm not perfect. I struggle in this area. I struggle in this area. I'm not made of steel. I definitely, struggle in these areas. When other women see that, I feel like if that gives them more hope. And it just helps women know they're not alone. We all struggle. We all have hormones we deal with, and we all have up days and down days, and we're all not perfect. So, um, I think a lot of people hide the heartache when they probably should just let someone know that they have the heartache. Reach out to someone, let someone help them. So, Deanna said, I liked watching those cheesy Kiss Under the Mistletoe movies. I think we all do as women. That's why I said earlier, go ahead and grab some cheesy Christmas movies and watch them. It's fun to do. Drink hot cocoa. We always get like one of those big popcorn bins. I haven't gotten one of those this year. I almost did. We always get one of those big popcorn bins, have like the dividers and the 3 different kinds of popcorn. And we always like eat that and watch a movie. One of my, and this is a little bit further on, I was going to talk about this, but one of my favorite things to do around Christmas is, and it's such a simple thing, but we watch the Charlie Brown Christmas special, where they have like the Christmas program. I love it because it just brings back memories. Actually, when I was little, one of my favorite memories when I was little is it was dark, because it gets dark like at 3 o'clock now in Illinois. But it was dark, and my mom was taking a nap. Everyone was taking a nap except me, and I was up watching Charlie Brown Christmas. And I just remember, I don't know, I just love that. And so now anytime, even as almost a 40-year-old adult, when I'm sitting around and every Christmas I watch that with hot cocoa or something, and I just get the same feelings rushing back, just that Christmas feeling. I don't know. And it's the simple things, like do the simple things. You don't need the huge extravagant gifts. You just need the little traditions that you do, whether that's watching a Christmas movie, going to see lights, driving around the neighborhood to see decorations. We've done that before. That's a cheap outing, especially when the kids were little and maybe they'd fall asleep in their car seat. We'd stick them all in and go drive around town. So, Jenny said, this will be our first Christmas without my father-in-law. He passed away in January. He was saved. I remember that, Jenny. That was just in January. Wow. It seems like it's been over a year already. So yeah, that'll be hard to go through it without your father-in-law for sure. So let's see. What are some favorite movies besides Charlie Brown? I love It's a Wonderful Life. We do like Home Alone. That's one of our favorites. Oh, we do like Home Alone. There's just a couple parts we have to skip on that one. Elf is funny too. Is that what it's called? Elf. The Christmas, the one that my husband looks like. What is that? The Christmas Story? The Christmas Story is another one we like. What was that one, Abby, that was really good? It was like the Christian one that we watched last year. Don't watch your Christmas Shoes. That's like the most retarded, lamest. I hate that movie. I hate that movie. Don't watch Christmas Shoes. my tip of the day. My brother-in-law actually got that for my husband one year as a funny joke because he knows how much I hate it. And it's just one of those movies that it's totally made intended to make you cry. Just don't watch The Christmas Shoes. Horrible. Oh, Christmas Carol. Yes, A Christmas Carol is another good one. I love that movie. Let's see. Trying to think of ones off the top of my head. I know there's a Little House on the Prairie Christmas episode. We've seen that one a couple times. I don't know. There's probably more that I can't think of right off the top of my head. But if you guys have any suggestions, leave them in the comments. Obviously, any of the old ones are great. There's not many like classics that we really like.
White Christmas.
Oh, White Christmas. Yes. Yeah, that's another big one. That's one of our favorites, White Christmas, especially when they sing the White Christmas song. We really, really like that one. And who doesn't like Bing Crosby? He's in there, right? Yeah, so there's a lot of cute ones. But talk to someone. Talk to someone if you are really struggling. Don't just keep it all inside. Definitely talk to someone if you're really struggling. Don't leave it all inside. Call or text someone, get help if you need it. Don't struggle on your own. Let someone know. If you've lost someone, I know one thing that could be good, it could be good for healing, is maybe visit their grave and take a Christmas wreath there, put it on their grave. If your cemetery allows you to leave things on their grave, just go there as a family and cry a little bit and maybe sing a Christmas carol or something on their gravesite. And then, just kind of move on. So, do things to help other people. One of the things that we used to do 6 million when we were at our other church, which I thought was kind of cool, was the kids would all in the church, they would make Christmas cards. And then we would take them to nursing homes and we would go down the halls singing Christmas carols and they would hand out their Christmas cards. That was really fun. I kind of want to do that again. So caroling, Christmas caroling, and that was a tradition for quite a few years when we were there, which was kind of a unique and special thing. See if your nursing homes will let you do that. Have your kids make cards. And the kids really liked it. They really liked making cards for other people and coloring them and stuff. So a lot of times you can't do like homemade cookies and things because they're on dietary restrictions, but you could do Christmas cards for anyone. So, see if you can visit a nursing home. A lot of older people don't have a lot of family that visit them around the holidays and they get very lonely and very depressed. And, maybe you're stressed out with like 8 kids at home, but you have all the noise and chaos. Maybe there's someone in a nursing home who has no one. And so, that kind of helps keep things in perspective too, when you think of the ones that don't have anyone around Christmas, where you could be a blessing or you could be a help to them. So, Heather said we go Christmas caroling with our church for the nursing homes every year. They light up having us. They love kids. Nursing homes love kids. So that is one thing we found out. We still do a nursing home service every month, and they just want to see the kids. They want to see Kelly. They want to see the babies. So if you have kids, nursing homes love you. Yep, you're right, Deanna. Deanne, I always forget which one it is. It always feels better to know you're not alone. That is very, very true. So, and Jenny said, this year will be so weird and different because we're in a new state with no snow. Well, you know what you could do to make a fun tradition? You could kind of maybe make some fake snow, put some fake snow around your windows and try to give it the feeling of Christmas in your home. So, yeah, and that's what I do too. I love the Charlie Brown one where Linus quotes scripture. I like that too. So definitely. Remember the reason for the season. This is the biggest one, along with focusing on others, I believe. Jesus is the reason for everything. He's the reason that the season is even here. A lot of people don't agree with celebrating Christmas. And obviously, I don't agree with that because we do celebrate Christmas. I believe when the Bible talks, it talks about, not looking down on others that, do things. Maybe they do celebrate special holidays, not to look down on them. And then, if people have something in their past that keeps them from celebrating holidays, that's fine. I don't look down on them for not celebrating. I have the problem with the people that look down on other people's because they do look down on other people's, look down on other people because they do celebrate the holidays. I do have a problem with that. And the Bible specifically says not to do that. So I don't see anything wrong with a Christmas tree. I don't see anything wrong with celebrating Christmas. It is all about Jesus's birth. Would I do Santa Claus? No, but I'm not like when we're out in public and I see a Santa Claus, I'm not like turning my kid's head, oh my goodness, it's a Santa Claus, and freaking out about it. You know, my kid, they know he's fake. From the time they were little, it's kind of like the Easter Bunny. They know the Easter Bunny's fake, but it was just like a fun idea. So, you know, they've never thought Santa Claus was real. We've never really done Santa Claus in our house, but we've never really freaked out about it either. We're not like, oh my goodness, it's Santa Claus, what am I going to do? You know, that's just, it's not been an issue in our home. So some people can get really freaked out about Santa Claus. So that's kind of funny. It's just not been an issue. It's been a non-issue in our home. I don't do Santa Claus decorations or anything. I remember one time, a long time ago, a lady gave me this little Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, like little snow globe thing. And she was like, I don't know if you do this, but I thought it was cute. You know, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, it's another made-up fun thing. So I didn't see anything wrong with it. So I just kept it, whatever. That's not going to offend me. So 6 million said I like saying Satan Claus. Nice. Yeah, if you ask any of my kids, even down to Lana, is Santa Claus real? They will say no. We don't do Santa Claus in our house, but we don't, you know, freak out about him either. If we go somewhere and we see Santa Claus, I'm not like pulling my kids in the other direction or something. So, but back to Jesus, you know, Santa Claus can take the focus off of Jesus. But just impress your children from the time they're little that Jesus is the reason for the season. We are celebrating Christmas because Jesus was born and because it's his birthday, and have them focus on that, you know, not so much the gifts, but have them focus on doing things for other people around that time. That's one of the best things you can do. Joy said, Santa is a distraction from Jesus so they can make money from the holiday from people who aren't Christian. That's a good point. I never thought about that. That's probably the main reason, one of the main reasons he was created. Yeah, so they don't, because since Christmas is technically a Christian holiday, because we're celebrating the birth of Jesus Christ, Santa is another way to make money, because then Santa gives all the kids the presents. Well, for me, being my kids' parents, we are the ones spending the money on their Christmas presents, so I'm not letting Santa take the credit for that. I'm taking the credit for buying my kids the presents, right, Lana?
Yes.
Lana's standing right next to me. So Lana knows that Santa Claus is not real. Yeah. Of course not real, she said. So funny. Let's see. 6 million said Pastor Mejia preached a sermon once that Santa Claus's gospel is for people to be good in order to receive a gift. If they're bad, then they coal when salvation is a free gift. I've never thought about it that way either. So Stephanie said, my kids know he's fake along with Easter Bunny, Tooth Fairy, right, but get a kick out of Santa when they see him. They're aware of what the season represents. Exactly. And that's kind of where I am too. I don't like freak out about it, but my kids know that he's not real. I just asked Lana. So I would have been really embarrassing if Lana would have been like, no, Mom, Santa Claus is real on camera. That would have been funny, wouldn't it, Lana?
The Tooth Fairy isn't real either.
No, the Tooth Fairy isn't real either. Is the Easter Bunny real? Yes, the Easter Bunny's real? No. She had to think about that one for a minute. We don't really talk about the Easter Bunny that much, do we?
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't really talk about it that much. That's funny. Okay, so, you know, lean on him, lean on Jesus during the season. I know if you have pain, he can heal your pain. Remember, he went through loss as well. He went through loss of loved ones. Lazarus died and he wept. So, you know, he had loved ones that died. Nothing is ever really said about Joseph again. So, and he had one of the disciples take care of his mom when he was on the cross. So I'm wondering if Joseph died because of that. Because I don't know why one of the disciples would have needed to take care of Mary if his dad was still alive, his earthly father was still alive. So I'm wondering if, he had been through the loss of that as well. So I know he had been through loss in his life, and he knows the pain that you're going through. And, he can help you. He can help you through the season. Just pray a lot, lean on him a lot, read your Bible a lot, try to take it easy. Don't overdo it, focus on others. Kelly asked, how do you respond to the holier than thous who say Christmas is a heathen holiday? How do I respond to the holier than thous? I haven't really ran into anyone that to my face has said that they don't do something. Most of the time, I just tell them, well, that's fine that you have that standard. I am totally fine with someone not having this. Maybe they have pagan roots in their past. They grew up in a pagan home. They grew up maybe dabbling in witchcraft or something along those lines. I know a lot of things, but pretty, has pagan roots when it comes to that. But I would just tell them that is fine. I am glad that you have high standards. I tell this for any holier than thous that are. Maybe they have higher dress standards than me. Maybe they don't wear makeup. Maybe I don't know, maybe they read their Bible 5 hours a day instead of 20 minutes a day like I do or something. I just tell them, that's great. I'm so glad for you. But the Bible does tell us that we're not supposed to look down on other people that don't do things exactly the way you do. So that's where I would tell them, for me, I do not believe. For me, the focus of Christmas is all about Jesus's birth. For me, I am not bowing down before a Christmas tree and worshiping it. It is simply there to represent the season. It's pretty. We like the lights. It's something to put the presents under. We're not worshiping it. So I do not have that same standard in my life. And I've pretty much used that same line of reasoning for anything. It does not make me self-conscious or, doubt myself in any way. That's why you need to study the scripture on your own and develop standards in your life that are going to be your convictions and not someone else's convictions, something along those lines. So, Heather, I like that. That's pretty. Joy said, some people's issue is that the Old Testament says the decorations are bad. There's pagan roots and powerful people made the day fall on a pagan holiday, but it's still about Jesus in the end, so we should celebrate. And if you look at it, everything was pagan back then because the pagans celebrated everything. They wanted feasts all the time. My husband and I were just talking about this last night. They did feasts for everything. They had special days for everything. Even our whole calendar year and our days are based off of pagan stuff. So do we just stop acknowledging the day now? Well, I'm going to refuse to say that this is November 25th because it has pagan roots. Where do you draw the line? So I do believe that Christmas is specifically a Christian holiday to celebrate the birth of our Savior. And I'm not going to let anyone take that joy from me. So we have chosen as a family to observe it and to celebrate it. And if someone else does not, I am perfectly fine with that. I do not look down on them. Like I said, they have a different background than I do. I was raised in a Christian home. I'm not going to struggle with different pagan things. I absolutely know nothing about witchcraft or pagan holidays or anything like that. I don't know anything about that. So that is not a stumbling block to me. So, So Belle said, that's good. I recently had a family tell me that they don't do a tree because it was pagan, apparently, but we know it's about the Lord. Must the pagans steal everything? Exactly. And like I said, pretty much everything has pagan roots anyways, because, there's always been pagan people. There's always been heathen people. And the majority of the world is lost. The majority of the world is lost and unsaved. Unsaved was what I was going for. So, there's always going to be things that have roots in paganism. So Kelly said, it's kind of like the people that say do not buy or eat at a company that funds LGBT groups. No one is taking Chick-fil-A for me. Well, my husband just did some posts about that. I told him, I'm like, you like go on rampages. He'll go a long time without posting anything. And then it's like 5 posts in a day within 5 minutes of each other. Boom, 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 boom. He's just sitting there doing all these posts. And we've talked about that before too. If you're going to boycott everything that funds or donates money to groups that we do not approve of or we do not agree with, then you're pretty much going to have to go on a homestead on 10 acres and raise your own food, raise your own livestock, raise your own coffee beans. That would be tough. So you're pretty much going to have to raise everything on your own if you're going to go that route. So for us, like he used the example, do you ask your plumber what he did with the money for the service he provided? No, you don't ask your plumber. So why do we do it with big corporations? If I like a service and if they provide a good service at a good price, I'm going to use them. So that's just our philosophy. So Kirsten said, I used to be really interested in pagan traditions and studied them. Pretty much all the supposed pagan roots of Christmas were fabricated in the 1800s. That's interesting. That would be an interesting study if you ever wanted to do that. I would like to hear more about that. Actually, the next time I see you in person, I'll ask you about that. Remind me to ask you about that. That would be an interesting discussion. So that's true, Kelly. She said, but even then you got to pay property tax to the government who spend on wickedness, even if you get that homestead. That's true. I mean, we're just stuck because we have property taxes that are always going to go to an evil government. And where does our tax money go to? Well, part of it's going to the evil public schools that promote all this LGBT stuff down our throats. Part of it is going to maybe fund abortions. I don't know. So what do? We can't even go on a homestead now in America. Now we got to go find a cave and hopefully not get caught. So there's always going to be a line that you have to draw. So I think that is about it. We are going to wrap it up. If you have any comments or questions, leave it down below. You know what? Maybe tell me let's do a giveaway next week. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. So all of you 41 people that are still listening, you got the first shot at this. All right. So in order to be entered in this giveaway, when this video is done, and this is let's do a $10 electronic Starbucks card. Now that we're talking about evil corporations, where their money goes. But you know what? I like Starbucks and I like the service they provide and I like the coffee that they give. So we will do a Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts, whatever one you prefer, because some people like Dunkin' Donuts better. Right, Gina? So we're going to do a electronic gift card, $10. You and your hubby can go get a drink together. Nice little coffee date. Okay. So we are going to do that for next week. So this is what you have to do. After this video is over, I want you to list your favorite tradition that you guys do around the holidays. It could be a Thanksgiving tradition. It could be a Christmas tradition. As soon as this video is done in like 30 seconds, okay? Hope or Shara, it is electronic. So if you have a Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts, I'm just going to send you an electronic card through email. So I don't have to ship it, okay? It goes right through. Yeah, do a Chick-fil-A gift card. That's funny. So I'm going to ship it right through your email. Okay. So I'm going to ship it right. Ship it. It's not really shipped. I'm going to send it right. I'm like watching the comments as I'm trying to talk. So comment not under the live, comment under the video in the comments, because the more comments I have, the more it gets the video. It goes up an algorithm, the whole algorithm thing. So like the video. Okay. I can't see who likes it, but just do it on your own. I'm trusting you to like it. Like the video, leave a comment telling me what your favorite tradition is. And I will pin a comment saying that, and I'll share it on Facebook and tell everyone to do it as well. Okay, so go ahead and do that, and you'll be entered in a giveaway, and we will do that giveaway next week when I have Miss Sherry on. I will draw a name out of all the comments. I'll draw a name, and that is who will get the $10 gift card. Okay, so go ahead and do that, and we will see you guys next week. All right, have a great week. Bye-bye.